it's Reagan, and today I'm here to bring you my June wrap-up. Now for the month of June, I'm actually pretty dang pleased with myself with the amount of books I have read and finished. I read a total of 6 books. 3 of those was an entire trilogy, so like, I did it. I read. But yes, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. The first book I completed should be no surprise, and I also mentioned it in my last wrap-up as I was almost done with it in May, and that is Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. This is book 2 to the Dark Artifices trilogy, I'm assuming for now. And oh my goodness, I enjoyed this book so much. This is I don't even know, her 12th book, her 9th book, I couldn't even tell you. There's a lot of freaking books now in this series. This series definitely made me fall back in love with the Mortal Instruments. I thought I was only a fan of her historical fiction set stories, and I was wrong, as I completely love this. This has drama, this has action, and it's also very political. It definitely weaves a lot of the themes and issues we have in our real world and translates them into a fantasy setting, but it makes it incredibly relatable in a scary kind of way. Because of the political nature of this novel, I just feel like overall it has a more complex and interesting lens than perhaps some of her earlier books had, which I can really appreciate. At least I've just been really enjoying. This series, I'm really loving. I can't wait for the next installment. It's probably my favorite next to the Infernal Devices. I'm just completely won over by all of the characters present in this, and I just can't wait to see how it unravels. It got real dramatic at the end of this book, and I ended up giving this book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The next book I completed this month was the Peruse-topia Book Club pick of the month for the month of June, and this month we are working with Simon Pulse, and that book is When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandia Menon, and oh my goodness, loved this story. I already have a full non-spoiler review, and Sasha and I have already done the live show, which I'll leave linked down below for you guys if you're interested. This is a YA contemporary love story, growing up story, coming of age story following Dimple and Rishi. Dimple just graduated high school, and she's very excited to finally begin pursuing her career of web and like computer design. She likes coding, and she got into Stanford, and she just basically wants to take the world by storm and break that glass ceiling. She's also looking forward to kind of escaping the pressure she feels at home from her mother to find the ideal Indian husband. Rishi, on the other hand, is a hopeless romantic, and he really finds a lot of comfort in the traditions he grew up with at home. And so when his parents tell him he has the opportunity to meet a potential future wife, a great match for him in the future, at a coding summer camp, he jumps up the opportunity to go and meet her. It ends up being Dimple. Dimple has no idea who Rishi is or why he's there or anything about marriage, and there the story kind of starts off. It is a story that we find Dimple and Rishi grow up. They learn from each other. They grow up individually, they grow up together. It's so sweet. It has so many layers of humor. All of the characters I found to be such a joy to read from. I'm just so excited that more own voices books are being introduced in the world, because each one, at least the ones I've read, have just been offering new, fresh perspectives to stories that have been such a joy to read. I just absolutely loved this book. I ended up giving it a 4.5 stars. Like I said, I have a non-spoiler review if you want more in-depth thoughts, which I'll leave linked down below. The next book I read was The Girl of Fire and Thorns by Rae Carson. This is a YA fantasy story, the first book in a trilogy that follows our main character Eliza, who at the beginning of the story has been married off as a political pawn. She's married to an older man in a faraway kingdom, and she doesn't really know who he is or what's going on. She's also the bearer of the Godstone, which is a religious symbol within her world, and because of it she's kind of even more ostracized from society. Throughout this whole story, Eliza really struggles with her own self-identity. I will say there is a trigger warning for a binge eating disorder. Obviously, I'm not incredibly familiar on that, but from what I read, it really does feel like there are elements of this in this book, so I did want to call that out. This is a very political YA fantasy novel that follows Eliza as she begins to kind of discover herself and slowly gain more confidence in herself. I absolutely loved this first book, so because of it, I ended up reading the entire trilogy this month. I briefly mentioned when describing the first book how this is a story that's very political and very much follows Eliza, our main character, as well as some other characters, as she grows into herself and into her. You really follow Eliza on a journey of self-acceptance and also beginning to realize that she is a very capable person, and if Eliza gives herself the space and the ability and the confidence to succeed, that she has every ability to do it because she's actually very capable. This is a story that I just absolutely loved. Each book grew on itself so wonderfully. The characters in this, as well as the plot, is incredibly dynamic. And throughout each novel, I really feel like Eliza's continuously learning, continuously growing, continuously self-reflecting on herself and trying to become more of the person that she wants to. She wants to really grow in herself, and I actually found that to be very inspiring. I also liked how this author played on tropes. Love and romance are not confined to the first novel, and neither is character growth. I find with a lot of trilogies, people or characters or relationships become interesting in the first book but then remain static throughout the rest of the series. That is not the case in this. Ray Carson really likes to show the idea that love, friendship, and whatever is continuously evolving, and because of that it can change, you can meet new people, and I really felt like that added a really great layer of complexity to this YA fantasy story. Like I said, loved this story. Political, amazing, great characters, great plot points, great everything. I loved it all. This is a 5-star series for me. Loved every second of it. Cannot wait to read more Ray Carson books. Seriously. I filmed a non-spoiler review for this entire series, which I accidentally just deleted, so I'm gonna refilm it, which I'm a little bummed about, but I love it so much that I really want to put an entire series review up about it on my channel, so watch out for that. And the last book I completed this month is the Copper Gauntlet by Cassandra Clare and Holly Black. This is book 2 to the Magisterium middle grade series, and this story follows Callum Hunt, who his entire life has been told the Magisterium is bad. He tries to flunk the entrance exam to get into this magic school. However, he gets in, and from there a slew of adventure occurs. I enjoyed this book. I definitely enjoyed the first one, The Iron Trial, more, and I think it had to do with the fact that while the story of this became more complex and dark, the actual antagonist got expanded, the world and problems got expanded. The plot itself though felt very rushed, and I kind of wanted the authors to expand on the setting a little more. I felt like Cal literally got back to school and in 3 days the entire book happened, which is fine, but I really felt like I wanted more of a school setting and more of an expansion of Cal interacting with the world around him. Instead, I felt like this was just 260 pages of the climax, and I just wanted a little more padding on either side, and that might just have to do with the length. I did really like it though. I mean, this is becoming a very dark middle grade series, and I'm really excited to read the next one, but I will say I did like The Iron Trial more than this, and because of it I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. Alrighty guys, that is my June wrap up. Let me know down below your favorite book that you've read recently, as I would love to know, and I will see you soon with another video soon. Goodbye!